So this from my phone isn't the only stuff that I've written down over the past, like, I don't even know when I started writing this. I have stuff on Google Docs. I have videos I've made on TikTok and YouTube. But I just I want to because I want to delete this file. I have so many notes app things. So let me just go ahead and read, okay? Okay, so first off, well, we're going to start with the Iran war. And what were people saying before the Iran war? Before we knew everything, all the outcomes, all the objectives, all the actual goals, all this. We see it already played out. It's over. Not actually over, but, there's a ceasefire. The date is April 9th, 2026. I'm making this. So there were a lot of people. The Epstein files was the major story before this, saying that Iran, we were so mixed up with Iran that we couldn't deal with the Epstein files. Okay, first off, the Epstein files is Pam Bondi's job, and the Iran war is Pete Hegseth's job. That's first off. Okay, that's why we have a government that is not just led by one fucking person. Okay, you have other people, and by the way, Trump's own fucking people, totally loyal to him, in those positions. So there's really no fucking that doesn't even make any sense. You're just being a dumbass. Okay, so you're just a dumbass if you said that. Second, not only did I know that, but I knew that no, the Iran bullshit, that we're not going to be attacked. There's nothing that we have to worry about. We're not about to be nuked. They're not even close to a nuclear weapon. That's bullshit. It's just a lie anyways. Not only is it just illogical and just makes no fucking sense, but it's a total lie. There is nothing to be worried about there. It's a fucking ruse to distract your ass from the Epstein files. And not just to distract, it's also among, other things. There's other goals in mind, namely helping out Israel. But that is one of them, okay? So, any low IQ subhuman that said that, fuck you. Let's see. A joke, by the way. Don't, not a subhuman. But even still, there shouldn't be anything more important than, obviously, if we were about to be nuked, if there's an imminent threat. But I think second, right fucking after that, and even way before that, they were focusing on the Epstein files. The idea that there's this billionaire cabal of rapist pedophiles just collaborating and trafficking children from other countries as well. What the fuck are we talking? How is this not the biggest story of the century right now? How in the fuck do all these other countries, or how are they bringing justice to their leaders, but America can't? Oh, that's right, because the Epstein guy is in power right now, and our Epstein's best fucking friend is in power. That's why. Let's also talk about, for any of you dumbasses that genuinely thought that, oh, they're just tied up. They have a bunch of other things that they have to worry about right now. Let me start naming some things that he did. He's building his Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom in the White House, fighting like fucking a warrior to get it approved. Renaming the Kennedy Center after himself, and I think he's remodeling it as well, and spending taxpayer money on it. I forgot, it was like $2 million or something like that. It's a good amount of money, a big chunk of money right there. He changed the respected days in the Yellowstone National Park to his birthday instead of Martin Luther King Day. I guess that was also more important than the Epstein files. His time is limited, but he can do all these things, right? He's trying to get his name, his signature put on like the $100 bill or some shit. It's some currency, some U.S. currency. So that's what we should have doing other than the Iran war. That's something that actually fucking mattered. Something we could have actually done something about. But no, instead we chose to launch an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't fucking attack us, for Israel. Did they actually provide any fucking evidence that anything was going to happen? No, they didn't. Of course not. Okay, let me switch gears for just a moment, and I'm going to come back to Iran in a second. But I'm just going down the list. So, of course, I added things as new things came into my brain. So, the original big Build Back Better plan would have provided free community college, among other things. Every time I bring shit like this up, people, oh no, this has to do with the Iran war. People would say that we couldn't afford it. I'd point to the deficit not being an issue, but more importantly, because that's one thing. Like we can spend money, just like we do with everything else. We'll spend money in all other places and go into debt. But it's suddenly a fucking problem when the things actually help people. Notice how you've been fucking programmed. Like, what the fuck? Are you retarded? You don't say that when it comes to anything else, except social programs. Like, I can't. But in addition to that, also we've already spent a whole fucking lot on the military. Like, just look up our military budget, bro. And when, okay, let me just keep reading, because I'm about to say what I was about to say. And Republican dickheads would then come to me and be like, oh, we have to spend for the military because that's something that we need. And even when I don't say it, I'm always thinking that that's bullshit and that no one is going to fucking attack us. If we just dial it back a little bit on our military spending, and we stop getting involved in stupid wars overseas that don't concern us, or starting shit with other countries. Well, okay. It's always easy for people to say that our spending is the only reason we aren't getting attacked. It's just easy for people to just fucking claim that, just be like, because we don't know what will happen if we stop spending, because we haven't stopped spending yet. But now that I'm actually living through this shit, and you could always look back on previous wars, and excursions and skirmishes, like with the Iraq War or Trump bombing Afghanistan, overthrowing, killing Saddam Hussein, that sort of thing. You can always look back, but now, it just means a little more now that I'm living through it. It's bullshit. What they said we spent like 11,000 a second on this war, billions a day. I mean, with just the money that we've already spent, we could like fund, I think it was free school lunch for all kids in the U.S. for a year or some shit like that. You could also give like teachers a $10,000 bump in pay or some shit like that with the money with just the money we spent for over a month. That doesn't include all the things that we didn't use, all the stuff that is made, all the bombs that are still made that we just haven't used yet. Like, there's no fucking reason that we had to do that. The world got worse after we used all of that equipment. Instead, we could have used the money we spent on building that equipment that was fucking wasted and done those things. And I'm so glad I'm living through the moment now, because I'm so validated in I was fucking right all along. We didn't have to spend money on that shit. We could have given it and put it in places that actually mattered. So Republicans wrong again. Again. There's literally nothing they can even fucking say to that now. I'm so glad we actually lived through that moment. Okay, if last month Iran was about to have a nuke soon, and they were about to use it on the United States unprovoked, to the point where Trump even told a reporter that you wouldn't even be standing there. You wouldn't be standing there right now if he had not attacked them. They allegedly almost had one, plus we actually gave them a good reason to use it now. And ever since we've started the war, we have hit military personnel, leaders, sites. We have not touched anything related to nuclear. We've only hit those things. We haven't touched anything related to nuclear energy or weapons. They were in fact talking about having to go and seize the uranium, and we haven't done that yet. Okay, so he said they were about to have it, and it's been now a month. So why the fuck don't they have it yet? Why the fuck haven't they threatened to use it? Why the fuck haven't they at least shown that they have it? They don't fucking have a nuke yet. They don't have one. It's been a month. They weren't close. No, he wouldn't be standing there as if they were literally like a week out of having it and using it. Bullshit. They don't have one. They're not. God. They should make one. They definitely fucking should have one. I wish they had 100 of those fuckers. Then we could actually we'd have a reason to not spend money. We wouldn't have to gear up for this bullshit and like plan 10 years down the line to invade them for no fucking reason. And we could actually spend that money on something that mattered if they had nukes, which sadly they don't. And now I have a question for you maggots out there watching this. If Trump drove our country into a Great Depression from this war, which many economists were projecting, if that had happened, would you have still supported the war? If your answer is yes, holy shit. And maybe your answer is no. Maybe you're like, you know what? No. If he would, I'm like, this is what I imagine a lot of maggots. He would have never even done that. But yeah, I mean, if he did that, which he wouldn't have, then I would not support him anymore. Okay, well, why the fuck not? Because his plan, not his plan, the reason that he's giving to attack them is because they were about to nuke our country. So really, you value you not having to deal with economic problems. You value that over your neighbor getting nuked. Because you actually believe that Iran can nuke us. So in your stupid ass mindset, Trump could have driven us into a Great Depression and it would have been just fucking fine. That's how you think. That is literally what you think. Period. And if you don't, then you're a dumbass and you're selfish. You have to pick one. That is literally, those are your options. Okay, next. These are the programs that Trump would have cut. He wanted to cut all of this so that he could fund this war. $1.5 trillion military budget. He wanted to cut $510 million in grants for farmers and agricultural research, $82 million in loans for rural small businesses, just fully eliminated. $61 million was support for farmers and food markets, fully eliminated. $240 million school meals and food education for children abroad, fully eliminated. $659 million. I mean, I'm not going to say all these. I'm just going to skip. Like $1.5 billion, $8.5 billion was funding for public schools, $2.2 billion broadband and internet access programs, $1.1 billion scientific research funding. He was prepared to cut all of this shit so that he could bomb innocent schoolgirls in another country for absolutely no reason. For Israel. So that Israel could weaken their fucking ally or their neighbors, and then they'd have an easier path to expanding their fucking empire. That's what we did. We're planning to cut all this shit. I mean, let me just show you. It just goes on and on and on. You see this? That's not even the bottom of it. You're evil if you're MAGA. You're just fucking evil. Okay, so this is. Let me give you the little story right quick. It's only going to take like 30 seconds. So when Trump announced the ceasefire, I was at home, and then my dad comes home. He was at work until like 5. Then he left. He got us something to eat. He came home. I was finishing up a test up here. I came down at 6 o'clock, like on the dot. Laura Ingraham, her show comes on. She starts talking about, or I sit down to eat and I'm watching, and then she starts talking about, I just got off the phone with Trump or some shit. You know, he said there's a ceasefire. You know, he sounded very serious. He was very determined or some shit. We won. We won the war. Full victory. All right. So all right, great. And this is what I wrote in the moment. I wrote this like 10 minutes after, or 15 minutes after, because I watched a little bit of it. I didn't want to just immediately, because if I started writing, I wouldn't have gotten everything she said. But I said, great job, Donald Trump. After 2,000 to 3,000 dead, including little schoolgirls, tens of thousands more injured, gas prices through the roof for over a month and counting. Civilian infrastructure, including the largest bridge in Iran, decimated, an entire region doused with toxic sludge rain and given Gulf War syndrome and cancer as the cherry on top. a more radical, pro-nuclear, determined and pissed off Ayatollah, whose father was just murdered, and I could just keep going. But we are right back to where the fuck we started, except of course worse in all the ways I just listed. So tell me, what is one singular fucking way that the world is a better place now compared to how we were in February? Because there isn't. And you can't just say, oh, they have less weapons. They have less weapons. You can't just fucking claim that bombing their shit makes the world safer. You actually have to prove that they were going to do something with said weapons, which there was no and is no evidence for. So to test your shitty theory, when they inevitably build back up, are we going to attack them again? Are we just going to keep fucking attacking this? I mean, that's the definition of a forever war. Especially since their Ayatollah is worse now, and their people are even more charged and pissed off. I guess we also have some work to do now as well. Or we also have some work to do around the world now because of the implication of this. We should also bomb a bunch of other countries. We got North Korea, Sudan, Syria, Saudi Arabia. The list just goes on. But no, you fuckers know that number one, whatever goal we have would be impossible to achieve. And we would be fighting a battle we can never win. We can't. That is literally how we beat the British in the Revolutionary War. When you spread your guys too thin and you try to do too much, it doesn't fucking work. Two, it would cost way more money than we could ever possibly fucking afford, and we could use that money for better things here, actually improve us here. Why don't we just be a beacon to the rest of the world instead of just bombing and killing relentlessly and showing everyone else how shit actually our ideas are? They look at us and they're like, why the fuck would we ever emulate the United States? Why the fuck would we ever do that? That's retarded. That is absolutely just asinine. I would never do anything that the US does. But if we did like China does, which, by the way, the entire world is now more favorable of China than they are of the U.S. If we did like China did and actually spent our money on shit like high-speed trains, infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, building our cities, advancements in technology, and then you could just fucking go on. And then we showed the world what it actually looked like to be a democracy and actually to be helpful to our citizens. We could make people in other countries want that there. But no, we can't. Republicans don't think that way because they don't fucking think. They just want gore and violence. And they just want to feel, oh, America, my life is good as it is. I'm a white asshole. I'm a white middle-aged fuck. My life is fine. I just want to... My life is boring, though. I'd like to wake up and scroll through videos of us bombing other people. I mean, that's all I want in my life right now. And it is unrealistic and childish to believe that somehow America is going to fix every other country in the world and make them a nice little Christian democracy like so many people want. The goal is just fucking retarded. We're not doing that. It's not helping. And for all the idiots out there who are okay with Trump's genocidal rhetoric on Easter morning, just because, like, well, right after he said that, we came to a deal. Hey, dumbass, we agreed to their deal. They didn't change a thing about their deal after his post. It was the same. He just agreed to it. He was just like, all right, that was a lie. I lied. I don't care about that anymore. Well, I'll just agree to your deal. We are a cuck. We cucked up to Iran, and now the world knows how weak we are. And it's actually more likely now that for China to do something rash, because they know we can't do shit about it. It's kind of like how the Russia and Ukraine thing, like everyone thought Russia was kind of scary, and now it's like no one's scared of Russia at all. Same thing just happened to us. Russia was a dumbass and tried to acquire Ukraine. We were a dumbass and tried to fight Israel's war for them unprovoked. And now we both paid the consequences.